Saturday, 21st of February, 2026 at 11:32 a.m. here in Amsterdam, North Holland, the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Welcome once again to our Cosmic Journey. It is your dev and design podcast featuring two streaming boys who are streaming away with the streaming. I am your stream boy, Jake. He is your stream boy, Trey. Hello, stream boy, Trey.
Hello, stream boy, Jake.
So, thank you very much to Sparkles of Gold, Nick, for the idea of maybe streaming this guy. So if you don't know Nick, this is him right here, Sparkles of Gold. He said, go to Stream Place, just go stream. Why not? Wonderful human being.
Yeah.
The only problem here is that we're talking about astrology, we're talking about astrology tools, and that usually doesn't command a very big audience, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's even more niche than just astrology alone, right?
Yeah.
Because we're not actually generally talking about anything that's useful to.
We don't talk astrological content. Like think that
exactly.
what we would be
talk
talking
astrology
about,
software.
Yes, you think what we'd be talking about is Neptune conjunct Saturn in Aries 1 and what that means. And I do talk about those things on very select Discord servers, but I do not talk to them with you because that's not what this podcast is about. Yeah. This podcast is to create an accountability for the best astrology software that is being created real time with all of you. Today's episode is called Snackin' on G's, and we'll talk a little bit about what that actually means. We will talk a little bit about a whoopsie release that we did that has to do with the letter G, and that I've been working on some multiple moment mobile stuff. Did not require to be an alliteration, but it was. And we'll talk a little bit about the sync progress. But before we get to all of that, Mr. Henry, we always have to start with the check-in question. It is my check-in question. Are you ready for it?
I am so ready.
Okay. We had a problem with the letter G. Trey, we'll talk a little bit more about like what happened, why the letter G was a problem for us in our software. But it got me thinking, what is your least favorite letter of the alphabet? And why? So our software's least favorite letter of the alphabet is the letter G because it eats the letter G. Nom, nom, nom. Maybe it's its favorite. I don't know. It eats it. What is your least favorite?
So I'm going to say that my least favorite is the letter Y, but only because we ended up somehow with J making the J sound. And unlike every other language that uses Roman characters to describe its language, which uses the J for a Y sound, which of course in English we use the Y for Y. And so it's just dumb. Like, it's just like everybody does it one way and then English does it a different way. And it makes absolutely no sense. And so it just bugs me every time. I'm like, why do I have to know that in every, why in every other language is it? It's not that I have anything against Y as a character. I actually think Y as a character is really cool because it's 3 lines. It's like
also it's in your last name. Your last name would be very different without a Y.
Well, actually, it would just be with an I, which is how it would normally be spelled.
Oh, good point.
But I love the character of Y because it's like a Hecatian 3-way junction, right? So it's nothing against the character itself. It's against the fact that English has jumbled up letter meanings, and anybody I'm sure who has to learn how to spell in English is just like, what the hell?
Well,
and to which
not the only problem, but yes,
it's not the only problem. But I will say for anybody who is learning English, you can thank Roman missionaries for why our writing system is so screwed up, because we used to have our own writing system, which was a runic writing system, which actually had symbols for all the sounds in English, and then we had to drop it because Roman missionaries were like, you have to use the Roman Latin lettering.
That sucks. I hate that. Good answer.
Oh, good check-in.
Well,
what about you?
I haven't checked in yet.
No, sorry.
Yeah, good check-in yet.
No, I was thanking you for the check-in question for my getting riled up.
Okay.
What is your least favorite character?
You got riled up on a very specific dimension, which has to do with history and thoughtfulness. Mine is incredibly petty and modern. I hate the letter X. Why do I hate the letter X? The letter X is used by douchebags to signal something that's hardcore extreme.
Yes.
And it's really dumb. So Russell Brand had this podcast called Brand X. And we have, of course, the douchebag of douchebags, Elon Musk, who's like, we're going to take X and turn it into the best brand ever. And it's just such a juvenile thing to do. So the letter X in my mind is just inextricably linked to people trying so hard to be hardcore that are not hardcore.
Yeah, I also really like that because I completely agree with you on X, and I really like pronouns that are not normal words or like that are not regular recognized words, but like G, gem, like things like that.
Oh, yeah.
Like with X.
The nouveau pronouns. Yes, I can't remember the name.
Yeah. Like where you're using pronouns that are bespoke for you or maybe for a group of people or something like that, which I love. I absolutely love this idea, even though it's very difficult for me to remember sometimes. But X, I think reclaiming X as like one of those kind of pronouns, amazing.
Amazing.
All the folks that are doing that.
All right, Mr. Henry, why don't we talk about the letter G and why it was so problematic for the application?
Yes, so the letter G was very difficult to type for a few, actually like 2 releases.
Yeah,
really.
this has happened before too.
Yeah, we did have it happen before. It was with different letters. And in this case, it was the title of the chart and also the title of Perspectives and Edit Perspective.
Yeah.
So why was G getting eaten? Well, G was getting eaten because we added the hotkey G for Go as
part
a
of a
2-step.
chord. Yeah, it's part of a chord. So you do G, then something, G, then something.
Exactly. So for those who don't know, you can hit G, then H to go home. You can hit G, then S to go to settings. So what was happening was that we weren't properly handling the case that when you were editing in an input that you should not be eating those characters for navigating. And it also showed that we had another issue where you could hit like GH while you were typing in the title of a perspective and it would just exit that perspective and go to the home page. And multiple issues there. We did get the hotkey thing fixed, and we are a little bit more robust on that.
But that required us to do a dot release, so you may have seen that now we have 0.10.1 that is out on the cosmic.plumbing/download page.
So I don't know if we mentioned before, but we also consolidated the release notes page.
Oh, yeah.
So now that like dot release is at the top, but you can just kind of scroll down. And
that was a member suggestion, and that member had not said that I could use their name, so I'm not going to use their name, but thank you.
You know who you are.
No, you know who you are, dear member. And now we have a consolidated release notes page so you can understand exactly what has happened across all these releases.
We always wanted to do, and we just ended up like doing the easy thing at first, just so that we would have some release notes.
Which is nice when a member is just like, it would be nice. And I'm like, yeah, we've been thinking about it. I'll just do it.
Yeah,
like, and that was one of those things that I like did on a Sunday. I was like, let me just do it and just get it done. It was great. Easy peasy. Do you want to show a little bit about the mobile charts?
Yeah.
Like how that has gone? So I can talk a little bit about what this is.
This is all you.
We've been talking about how we're going to move to small screens into phones or into tablets. And you can see here on Mr. Henry's screen, this is the normal chart page, right? Circle upon circle. We've got 2 moments that we're showing here, but circle charts don't really work well on rectangular objects. We've talked about this before. So let's get this down to a rectangular object size. And when we do that, there we go. Now we have multiple moments showing up in a table. And so the idea here is that we would have the pinning of either the house for the first moment or the signs, obviously for the first moment, but across all moments, on the left-hand side. And then you can see here that every moment thereafter shows you their local house along with their placement, but the placements are threaded through the table. And so if you click on any one of these should show the moment detail, the placement details for that moment here. And the nice thing about this, and this is something that we talked about last week, is that this view gives you a more dense amount of information on a smaller screen than what a circle gives you on a bigger screen. Now, a circle chart provides you a lot of ways to see angularity of planets and things like that. But this screen here just gives you a much more dense amount of information. And you could probably imagine we can go beyond just 2 moments, where in a circle, we would only have really room for 2 moments. We could just keep going to the right, and you could have moment 3, moment 4, moment 5, all the way till moment kingdom come. Who knows? Lots of moments.
Lots of moments. That's actually one of the things that I really love about this approach is that we can have we can make it even more information dense than we are right now.
Right.
And we can then have, like you said, n number of comparables. So I actually want this for larger screen because I want to be able to, like, as I mentioned, I think last time when we were showing the essential dignity view, that being able to see all of that essential dignity at the same time with multiple rings is really, really compelling. It's super good. I think it's often the case that it'll be like one person from a family unit or something like that will come and start talking about their relationship and their children and like whatever, and being able to pull those in as moments in a comparable chart that isn't like trying to parse 10 rings in a ring kind of thing.
It's too much in a ring, but it works really well for this view over here.
But we should note also that this is
still in test.
Like, this is a prototype. This is like we know that there are issues here, and so this is just demonstrating kind of some of the thinking.
But what you can see here, because Mr. Henry's using whole sign houses, that the sign and the house are all mapping up. But if you were to change, could you change a perspective to like go to, actually just change to Placidus houses. So you can see here now the houses shift. So the houses are not necessarily pinned to the sign anymore. And we can see how the houses have shifted against moment 1, so that they kind of thread through. And then moment 2 still keeps its same houses over there. And you did this before, but you can go super small with the screen. And you can see that what will happen here is that it will be sticky. So if you go super small with it, I mean, not that small, a little bit bigger. There you go. Now you scroll, you can see that there's a little bit of problems with the transparency, but we'll fix that later. But you can see that like the houses and the signs for moment 1 are pinned, and that you can see against all the various moments. Pretty cool stuff, actually, if you ask me.
Yeah. Super, super cool.
And why has the title got all those G's? Well, we talked about that already.
Yeah. New chart. This is, me testing.
Testing G's. Testing G's on that one. Let's talk a little bit about sync progress, Mr. Henry. How are you doing with sync?
Yes, I did a lot of thinking about syncing.
Syncing about thinking.
We made some really good progress on the design of sync this week. We simplified things drastically, and I created a design document for the implementation. I originally, just to give a little bit of background on this, I originally thought we want to mirror the linear application, which we've talked about plenty in the past, which is somewhat similar to us in kind of how it has a local first. It's a local first application. It's very similar to what we want to do. But actually, I sort of realized after a while that there are some fundamental differences between what Linear's expectations of user experience around their product versus ours. One of the biggest things is that they need to support multiplayer. So they need to support real-time
multiple people editing one thing at the same time.
Right.
We don't have that.
We don't have that yet.
Maybe one day in the future.
Yeah, exactly. But then also another kind of more subtle thing is that Linear expects people to mostly be online. It will work offline for some short period of time and it will like resync back up. But it's really not meant to be a offline thing for any longer period of time. Whereas with Cosmic, as we've said in the past, you should be able to do your astrology on the train or on the plane,
on the bus,
and anywhere where you are that where you have no internet. And so that also kind of changed our sync story a little bit to something that's a little bit easier to think about, easier to understand, and easier to implement, which is really important for us with our one-person engineering team. It's much more like Obsidian, where essentially you have kind of single player, you're doing document synchronization. Even though we do support offline for potentially a long period of time, we also expect that you're not going to be offline for a long period of time on multiple devices trying to edit the same things. Because of that, our synchronization story, I think, is going to just really be focused on making sure that all of your stuff is on all of your devices, and that in the case that you are a single person and you're generally using one device at a time, you can have n number of devices that are all synchronized, but you as a person are probably not going to have like your laptop and your phone at the exact same time working on the same chart. So that's the long-winded way of saying that we kind of simplified things, and the design is, I think, a lot easier to understand now. So
yeah. And the other question that Trey had for me was, can people turn sync off? And I said, yes, they can. And then we walked through all of the scenarios about that. And then we got to a point of like, if people don't want sync, why are they using Cosmic? Because it's like so core to the identity of what we are building. Your charts everywhere.
Yeah.
And that means on your tablets, on your phones, and on your desktop. And if you don't believe our charts everywhere, why would you even download us? So then we got to this moment of clarity that perhaps we don't allow you to turn sync off. And we're very opinionated that if your charts are everywhere and you care about the software, then you're going to have to turn sync on. That does mean that there is a barrier where astrologists that might not know who we are and what we care about and how integral we are to the community might not necessarily understand what we would do with their data, how we would protect their data. And that's a thing that we need to answer for them. And we hope through our long-winded podcast, we are telling you, yes, in fact, we do care very deeply about your data, about the security of your data. We understand that astrology, especially in certain cultures and countries, is not a safe practice. And we want to make sure that you are safe when you use our software.
You know, the only actually safe system is one that's not plugged in.
Yes.
And so, you know, if data is exfiltrated, that it doesn't result in, you know, people like customers of ours in Egypt being arrested, for example.
Or Iran, you know,
Yeah, there's multiple countries where you could potentially be arrested and put in jail for a very long time for
There's a really
astrology.
wonderful Renaissance astrologer in Iran. I cannot remember his name, but Sparkles of Gold, Nick, was telling me about him. And like, internet availability now is very spotty in Iran because of all of the stuff that's going on in the world right now. So we hope that if you have the chance and you live in a culture that has like danger or lack of connectivity because of like what's happening in the world, we hope that you're safe. And for all of our friends that know friends and know astrologer friends that are in those places, let's all just keep our hopes up that everything is going to work out just fine in this very strange Saturn and Neptune conjunction in Aries 1 and what that means for this world.
Yeah. Also, you know, we should, just because sync is a core aspect of Cosmic, that doesn't mean that offline isn't also a core aspect of Cosmic. And so, you know, while it won't be possible to turn sync off, it will be possible to use the software offline as much as you need.
Yeah.
And those two things, you know, should be able to coexist well together.
Yes, let's not
our goal.
Let's not conflate the ability to sync with the need for connectivity. And sometimes cloud software says everything is in the cloud, but everything is always connected. And we are not that. So we are building a platform that has great experiences so that when you do disconnect because you want to go on a meditation or a retreat, or you're in a hall where there's really spotty internet and you still want to take people's charts and do things with them, we'll have that for you. We're ready to go. If you're on a plane and you are thinking about astrology and you want to pull up a chart, we are there for you.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean you can turn sync off because it's so core to our value proposition. How could you?
Yeah, exactly. Well said.
Thank you. Mr. Henry, this has been surprisingly good from a streaming perspective because usually I am all over the place and I have to edit myself. Mr. Henry, what should the good viewer do with their time and energy this weekend?
Go walk to the dog park. Even if you don't have a dog,
you can go
parks are great. They're just like, you can pet other people's dogs.
Most dogs love human beings and they love attention. And so a dog finding a new human being and new attention is a gift to them. So go provide
oxytocin for you, oxytocin for them.
Everybody is just so high on oxytocin. Be well, take care, go to your dog park, have yourself a lovely weekend, or whatever day you watch this video. We hope to see you again next week. We're here every week for you. Until then, be well, take care, and goodbye.